ladies and gentlemen. John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur, coming at you tonight with another fabulous show. Welcome to IFYL, Inspirations for Your Life. Now, if you are new to my show, which you may be, and if you are, well, that is fantastic. On the top right, you're going to notice, yes, there is a QR code. Take your phone, scan the QR code. I'll direct you to my link tree. My link tree is really easy to get to. If you can't get to it by QR code, well, you can just get there by going to Believe, Believe, me, M-E, Achieve, Achieve, .com. Believe Me Achieve. That's Believe, me, Achieve, Achieve.com. And so, welcome. If you are coming back, it is great to have you here. So you guys will know that every single week I have a brand new main topic, and then every single day I have a subtopic that gets into that main topic. So what is the topic? Well, before we do that, I want to thank our loyal subscribers for being here, and hopefully some of the new people that are here today will become loyal, just like many of you that have been following me for quite a while. All right, so what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about what to focus on to be a success. Well, that's a real mouthful, isn't it? Now, we talked the other day about things that can help you with your health. The day before that, we talked a little bit about money and financial abundance, but a lot of people out there actually focus on one interesting thing. You know what they focus on? They focus on results. So I have to give credit to a very wise author, Jack Dixon, for his quote, "If you focus on results, you will never change. If you focus on change, you'll get results." So what that means is if you keep focusing on results day in and day out, just I want to see this, I want to see that, you're never going to see anything different because you're always going to be doing things exactly the same way. If you focus on change of how you're doing things, well, then results is going to find you. You all remember the great definition, which is similar to this. You guys all remember Einstein, don't you? And he said something very important to us. And that is, if you do the same thing over and over again, and you expect different results, that's the definition of insanity. So very similar to what this gentleman's saying, Jack Dixon, saying it a little bit differently. And that is, if you focus on results, you will never change. If you focus on change, you will get results. So you need to focus on the change that you want to become. Now, change is not always easy. And why is that? People today resist change. They don't like things that are new. They're afraid it might be different. It might be harder. And because a lot of people are creatures of habit, they don't want to change. You might have heard the saying before. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But if you could take something like a process, a system, or whatever you're working with, and figure out how to make it better, well, why wouldn't you want to do that? And I think the reason a lot of people don't want to do that is they're afraid that they might not be able to keep what they have. So I'm not telling you to throw out what you've done. Still save that, don't throw it out, but tool something new. And then when that becomes really stellar, then you don't need to worry about what you were doing before in the past. But you're always tooling and coming up with ideas on how, yes, you can become a better version of yourself and how you can help others become a better version of themselves. So in life, you want to focus on change. Focus on change. When you take little steps to focus on the change of today, you're going to get great results. The reason most people don't get results is because they really don't focus on change. They focus on always the result. Even though they think they want change, deep in their head, they're focusing on the result. And the result has a way of getting us a little clouded over what should be done as opposed to what shouldn't be done. Hmm. So you're saying, John, if I was to focus on the change, then I see results. Let's take an example. We talked about losing weight the other day. That was a pretty popular one. If you want to lose weight and you just keep focus on losing weight, well, you're probably not going to lose weight. If you focus on the change of losing weight, then you'll lose weight. Well, how does that work? Well, what change can you make in your life that will affect whether you lose or gain weight? And as you start to appreciate that change, then your life actually takes a different turn, usually a positive one. And that turn is something that gets you to see the world in a completely different manner. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, and we learned this from Jose Silva many years ago, that geniuses are not very different than other people? They just learn how to use their mind in a different manner. Hmm. Well, what do you mean by that? I mean that your brain is working a certain way. And when you challenge it, when you get it to think differently, when you get different perspectives, you're able to take the information that you've learned and process it a completely different way. Well, how does that help us? Well, have you ever looked at a shape, whether it's in person or it's online or maybe in a figure, right? And you look at it, like let's take the 6 or the 9, right? If you look at it one way, it's a 6 and it's a 9, but depending on how you look at it, from what perspective, what angle, the number is still the number, but it's how you look at it. So that's why a lot of times we put a little dash underneath the 9, but there's still an ambiguity to, is it a 6? Is it a 9? And I think the thing that really trips up a lot of people is that they think that they're changing, but really all they're trying to do is manipulate the results. And so when you manipulate the results, it seems like you're changing, but really you're not. You're just deluding yourself into an illusion. And so when we take our mind to focus on change, like I said, losing weight, what can you focus on? Focus on eating less calories. Focus on drinking more water. Focusing on adding some exercise to your diet. Focus on more protein. Focus on less carbs. Focus on understanding how your body burns using your metabolism for your BMI, right? If you understand these things, you will start to make other connections that didn't currently exist. And because they currently don't exist in the way you used to think, when you suddenly change your perspective and now you see these things differently, or maybe from a different color or a different angle, they go into your brain, but they sit in a different way. And that different way actually gets you to think about them totally differently. And because of that, when they get processed and you think about them, you get different thoughts. Right. Because when you understand what makes change, how to keep change, and knowing that change is good, right? Change is good. But a lot of people don't want change because they're afraid of learning something new. The fact that, maybe they won't be as good as what they were before because they don't want to learn. They don't want to go through that process again. But when you make the choice to understand change and focus on it in your life daily, so much in your life is going to transform. Let's take golf for a moment. All right. So if you play golf and you just focus on the result of hitting the ball far, well, that's great. That's great. That's being positive. But if you really want to improve your golf game, what's one thing you can do? Well, you can practice on changing your swing. One big thing that a lot of golfers don't do is they don't swing all the way through, or they don't come all the way up and then swing all the way through. Another thing they don't do is they don't keep the door open on their club. And so when you make a mental thought and process of making sure that you swing all the way through, take a practice swing, or make a mental thought and making sure that you keep that door open on the club before you swing, I guarantee you, you're going to play better golf. Now, this doesn't just work in golf. It can work in the kitchen. It can work in your everyday lives, in your business, in relationships. Maybe someone's always saying, that you don't listen. So you're focusing on having a better relationship, but that's not what you need to focus on. You need to focus on the change that you want to see in the relationship, and that's better communication. So how can you improve your communication? Well, one thing is to become a better listener. How do I do that? Well, make a conscious effort to listen more than you speak. Make a conscious effort to actually understand what the person is saying to you. And then once you get that and they finish, then ask your question if it's not already been answered. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So change is something that causes our body to move from where we are right now to somewhere else. And by moving to somewhere else, we're either at our destination or we're a lot closer to it than we originally thought. So when we focus on just the result, we're doing exactly what Einstein said. We're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, which is the definition of doing the same thing over and over again. It's insanity. So why do people do the same thing over and over again and expect to have different results? I'll give you a perfect example. Maybe you're trying to get clients online, but you do the same process all the time. And that process is you market the same way, or you sell the product the same way, or you treat your customers the same way, but you don't get a difference in the referrals or in new business. So Einstein's theory would tell us if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, we're not going to get different results. We're going to get the same results over and over and over and over again. So what does it take someone to actually understand that change is the key to success and not the result? Now, the result is great to think about being positive. There's nothing wrong with being positive. It's just that that's not going to be your biggest change point. If you went to play golf and said, well, I want to play great golf and I want to have a low score, that's going to do absolutely nothing for you. I want to play golf and I want to have fun. All right, you're going to have fun maybe playing golf, but you might not play any better. So wouldn't it be good to do something that actually could improve your game? Like just make sure you're swinging all the way through. Make sure you're keeping your eye on the ball. Make sure that you're teeing the ball up properly. It's not too low, not too high. Make sure that you keep the door open on the club when you're swinging. Pretty cool. Making sure that you're aimed the appropriate way with your feet, right? Because if you're aimed the wrong way and your ball always goes off to another country and you keep lining up the exact same way, do you know what's going to happen? Your ball's going to keep taking a diversion to another country. So hitting the ball the same way, but let's say the door closed, is going to cause our club to slice or miss the ball. So understanding just that one concept, that if you were to change one thing in your life right now, I don't care what it is, just change one thing in your life right now, I guarantee you that your life will be better. Make one change. Write out that change in a book. Journal it. You see, when you make that change conscious, a lot of times it's subconscious, make it conscious. And when you do that, your brain is going to understand what you're doing, and it's going to work to help you achieve that success, that goal. But it won't do it if you just say, well, gee, I want to be a great golfer or I want to be a great singer. But you know already right now that when you sing, you miss notes. So why are you missing notes? Maybe you're not reading the music properly. Maybe when you speak, you're not breathing properly. So I'm just giving you some differences. Let's say we're talking about baseball, right? What's a good way to be a better baseball player? Making sure that your feet are lined up properly, arms are square, looking at the ball, making sure you see it, and then swinging if it's in the box, right? Making sure that once you hit the ball, you make sure that you run to first. Understanding that you have to get the first, but not just understanding, knowing that if you know you always struck out, well, why were you striking out? Were you swinging at everything? Was it where you were hitting the ball? What was it? And when you change one thing, if it works, great. If you change something else and it works, great. If it doesn't, then change it back. So think of life as a combination puzzle where you're constantly changing different things in your life so you're able to get in alignment or on the frequency to be able to become a better version of yourself and help other people become better versions of themselves. But why don't people do it is where I want to end. It's because people are scared. It's because people want to make excuses because, again, they don't know what it's going to be like. They don't know how their life is going to change by doing this. They also don't know, is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? So sometimes when you make a change, you have to realize that that change is probably good, but you obviously can analyze it over time and say, gee, did opening the door on my club help me swing better? Yes, it did. Did teeing up the tee like this help me? No, it didn't. I should keep it a little lower. So you get what I'm saying. Think of life as a unique recipe to your success. When you bake a delicious brownie or cupcakes or anything like that, you either follow a recipe or you make your own or you tweak it. Same thing in playing golf or any success in your life. When you find the recipe that works for you, you can duplicate that and grow your success. And you know what that does? It's going to build the dopamine levels in your brain, and it's going to get you to celebrate your success. In fact, when you make that change, you may not reach your success, but you might cross your first or second milestone. And when that happens, I guarantee you, you're going to want to keep staying on track. That is a pretty cool thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be with you this evening, as it is every single evening. And I hope you will choose to like and support my channel. Comment below. What do you focus on? And have you done what Einstein has said not to do, which is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results? Or have you done what Mr. Dixon has told us not to do, which is to focus more on the change, okay? And then you'll get the results instead of just focusing on results. Also, I'd like you to tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share it out with everyone you know on social media. And look for my key phrase on my YouTube channel, John space E space MRLEY space serial entrepreneur. And look for that phrase underneath and make the choice tonight to buy my team and I a cup of coffee. We'll be so grateful with those pennies and dollars. We'll invest them into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, even new software to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational content. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege and pleasure. And I look forward to coming back and talking with you tomorrow more about what do you need to focus on to be a success in life. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow, everyone.